Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Codex Reviews. My name is Tim, and I am here on location at My Guys Comics in Clinton, Tennessee. And I'm going to be bringing you the review, loosely called that, of The Amazing Spider Man issues number 21 through 26. And I'll have that all up here for you to take a look at those wonderful John Romita Jr. covers. Now, the story is written by Zeb Wells. Here's issue number 21, in case you haven't gotten that yet. Now, it needs to be said, if you love the storyline, good for you. You, I think, are in a minority as far as that is concerned. But if you hate it, I think you're going to agree with a lot of what I have to say. So, spoiler alert, this storyline sucks. Here's issue 22. Then we have 24 and 25 right there. So, yeah, written by Zeb Wells, artwork by John Romita Jr. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and dive right into this. So, basically, since the beginning of The Amazing Spider Man, this current volume, issue number one, all the way to the end of 26, right, where all of this stuff ends, they've been saying that Spider Man did something so terribly, incredibly, horribly wrong that the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, certain members of the X-Men, and most of all, Mary Jane absolutely hate him and want nothing to do with him. And at the end of the last volume, they started to allude to this and then bled it all the way through to these issues, right? And then we come to issue 21, where the start of this epic storyline takes place. So basically, you have this guy, the emissary, right here, this god from way back before when Zeb Wells was doing the Amazing Spider-Man, not too long after the Brand New Day storyline took place. This guy has come back to enact the utmost revenge on Spider-Man, and Mary Jane is now with a dude named Paul, and they have kids, and Peter is being tossed into the meat grinder, and then after that he's getting thrown into the meat grinder again. All the while we are being led to believe that he did something so incredibly horrible that the majority of the Marvel characters in the 616 universe despise him and will have nothing to do with him. So through all of this, we figure out that what Peter actually did was nothing. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything to, or that at least justified making all of these characters mad at him, hate him, frustrated with him, whatever the case may be. All he tried to do was save the woman he loved, went to an alternate dimension where time runs a lot slower, and got pushed back into the real world, tried to figure out a way to get her back. But during that time, Paul and Mary Jane developed a relationship, found some kids that surprisingly looked just like them, and built a family around that. When Peter gets back, a short amount of time is gone for him, but a long amount of time is gone for Mary Jane. I know it sounds confusing, and it just gets worse from here. So through all of this, Peter's just trying to get back with Mary Jane, trying to figure out how that can be done. Mary Jane wants nothing to do with this. And if you haven't read the story, go ahead and read it if you want to, but you're not missing out on anything. So let's get into how I feel about this. This, I think, will go down in history as one of three storylines that Spider-Man fans and comic book fans in general will hate. And that's not a good legacy to have. So you have the Clone Saga from the 90s, you have the One More Day storyline from the mid 2000s, and you have this. This has driven a lot of people to hate Peter Parker. They're doing character assassination for Mary Jane. Peter is acting out of character. Now, before you go ahead and attack me for that, I understand that the writer determines how Peter acts and all of that. I get that. But a legacy character like this acts a certain way, right? And I think Zeb Wells is not doing a very good job of honoring any of that, which I think is what makes a lot of people upset. You've got them completely destroying the relationship between Peter and Mary Jane. And editorial, I'm looking at you too, because you guys are just as much to blame as Zeb Wells is for writing this. It's just not a good story. It really isn't. The entire 21 through 26, all of those issues, that could have been compressed down into 3. There was no reason, first of all, to have it go that long. It made no sense to draw it out. All you did was make people mad. I mean, that's it. Number 2, the character assassination, like I said before, of Mary Jane, completely destroying her character and her relationship with Peter, I think was an incredibly bad move, not only on editorial's part, but on Zeb Wells' part for even thinking up something like that. I get that a lot of people don't like Peter and Mary Jane together, but Peter and Mary Jane being together makes a lot of sense. Peter and Black Cat do not make sense being together because Black Cat's in love with Spider-Man, not Peter Parker. If that's changed, let me know, but I don't think it has. Uh, so yeah, John Romita's artwork in here, cover artwork is really good, but interiors just really felt rushed or lazy, if you want to go that harsh, and just overall uninspired. During the course of this run in issue number 25, this one here, where they really go into just what happened with Mary Jane and Paul when they are trapped in this slow time moving alternate dimension. And yeah, that's ridiculous too. The whole thing. So I'm going to be complaining about this a lot, and with just cause too, because it just none of it makes sense. Number 1, what did Peter do? He did nothing. He did big fat 0. Absolutely nothing, except try and save Mary Jane. Caused a, small crater in some farmland somewhere, left his suit buried in a small hole, and then took off. And that's what he did, right? That doesn't make any sense. That all this buildup, all this hype to that particular event. What did Peter do? Well, this is what he did. Well, what was that? It wasn't anything. And then going through with Paul and Mary Jane and the kids. Now, in issue number 25, I think you can tell that they really wanted Paul and Mary Jane to have made these children, but I think that was pushing things just a little too far. And somebody, hopefully, thankfully, stepped in and said, "Man, we can't do that." So you could see in issue 25 how there were rushed changes to fix that. And then in issue 26, the kids disappear. So the whole point of having them there doesn't really mean anything either. It's all gone. It doesn't mean squat. And then on issue 26, you have the death of Kamala Khan, who has been in this series for 26 issues. I think you could fill up all of her appearances and all of her words in 5 pages. Right? All of that, maybe 6 if you stretch it. And to have her death be this massive, major thing, which we all know death in comic books is nothing now. It doesn't last. It has no impact. It's not remarkable because the characters are going to be brought back. But to have her die in a series that she has very little part in also makes no sense whatsoever. It is just unbelievable to me that not only does editorial approve of all of this, but they say that Peter and Mary Jane will never be together so long as they are there. And Zeb Wells is all thumbs up about high sales and this and that, but people are hate reading this. If you look at the letter section in any particular issue, go ahead from 21 to 26, you'll see a lot of praise and very little criticism, constructive or super negative. It doesn't matter. And in issue number 27 at the end, Zeb Wells even says that they're biased when they pick the letters. They want to pick the letters that look good. They want to pick the letters that blow smoke up their skirts. And they want to pick the letters that praise them. Well, you need to show the side of the comic book community that absolutely despises this storyline too, right? Nothing that is violent or threatening or anything like that. That doesn't need to be around. That doesn't need to be said, but genuine, honest, constructive criticism about just how utterly terrible this storyline is really needs to be shown in those letter columns. And I hope that they do that in the future. With all this being said, this is and will go down in history as one of the worst Spider-Man storylines ever written. And that I don't think is a legacy that you want to have. And now Zeb Wells will be a part of too, right? When he was doing the stuff during Brand New Day and this atrocious POS. So for writing, my grade is a big fat 0, right? I have never given a 0 before, and I'm not doing it out of hate, maybe a little. But for the most part, it's just not a good story. It does not tell a good story. It does not make a reader want to continue to read except out of anger and aggression and hate. Reading Spider-Man to me at this current time is a chore, it's exhausting, and it's a book that I absolutely do not want to read. And that's unfortunate because Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters. And I think that what Zeb Wells has done here with one of a lot of people's favorite characters is really destroy him or ruin him in such a way that the next writer that comes in after Wells is done kicking things around is going to have a really difficult time fixing a lot of this. Writing gets a big fat goose egg, big fat 0. Artwork, on the other hand, at times John Romita Jr.'s artwork was really good, and at other times it was really, really bad. So I think I'm just going to have to give this a straight 5 out of 10. So if you want to go with an overall artwork with that being a 5 out of 10 and writing being a 0, the entire run from 21 to 26 gets a 2.5 out of 10 from me. It's not good. It just makes people mad, it makes people upset, they ruin a lot of things that people are comfortable with and that people know with, legacy characters and characters that are near and dear to their hearts. I understand that people want to change things and they want to put their own spin on things, characters like Spider-Man and Mary Jane's relationship, etcetera, etcetera. But you have to take into consideration the people like me that have been reading since we were kids. These are things that we've grown up with, these are things that we know, and to completely show a severe lack of compassion for any of that is wrong. In the simplest sense, in the most basic definition, it is absolutely wrong. Zeb Wells, what if you ever see this, which I highly doubt you will, what you have done to this character has made a lot of people hate their favorite character. And that is unfortunate because you shouldn't hate something like this. Spider-Man should be a character that the every person can relate to. And it should be a character that even though he's down on his luck, he still has a positive attitude most of the time and really does try his best. In some of that, you kind of got it, but in a lot of that, you completely disregarded or just destroyed it completely. Zeb, I think you are an atrocious writer for Spider-Man. Any other things that you've done, I haven't read, and I probably won't. And anything you're going to continue to do with Spider-Man, I will have nothing to do with until you are off the series and I can finally get back into my favorite character when someone else is writing besides you. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my heartfelt review of The Amazing Spider-Man issues 21 through 26. Like I said before, if you like it, that's great. That's perfectly fine. If you don't like it though, that's fine too, and you are allowed to. We are allowed to be passionate about our characters and passionate about what other people are doing to them, as long as we're polite about it and professional, right? That's the most important thing. So, once again, my name is Tim. You can find us on all the socials. All you got to do is type in at the Codex Station, and that is where you will find us. We also have a website that is thecodexstation.com for all your Codex needs. My name is Tim the Terrible, and I will see you next time.